Bum ba dum, bum ba dum, bum bum bum, bum 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 ba dum da dum, bum bum bum, da dum dun dun. Dun dun da dum bum 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 rum bum bum dun dun da dun dun dun. Hi, Susan. Hi everyone. Good evening, my friends. We have our little opening now. I'm not so sure I like the video. I'm not so sure about the music. We'll work on it. Hello, my mighties, my wonderful mighties, nice and clear. Good morning from a very chilly Western Australia, says Tara. Nice to see my friends from all over the continent and the globe. So, good evening. My name is Joette Calabrese. For those of you who don't know me, I'm here every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And we do one thing and one thing only, and that is I teach you what I know about homeopathy. I try to give you the easiest and simplest ways to use it. And for those of you who do know me, hello, my friends. It's great to see you all. It's great to see you. From Georgia, hello, Brenda. Southwestern Wisconsin, Antoinette. Wonderful to see everyone. So, last week we had trouble with our internet, and I think it was don't worry. I don't think it was anything outside of our own control. I believe that it was something on our end. We were traveling and trying to make things work with a lick and a promise. So this time now we're settled in. I have my IT team right here with me in the next room. So that's going to make all the difference in the world. So I'm on a high today. I know we're supposed to be talking about allergies again, and I wanted to flesh it out. For those of you who were with me last time in my Mighties, you were the only ones who I connected to, and then I lost Facebook, etc., and YouTube and Twitter, etc. So we're going to go over a lot of those, but I just have to tell you a personal story. I'm going to need Perry's phone. Hey, Perry, would you mind bringing your phone to me? And so I am on a high because I got back from my dental appointment today with, I think, the finest dentist ever known to mankind. I travel 5.5 hours to get to this dentist, and I had a filling that had fallen out, and it needed some work, very little work, but he's way past just doing fillings. This is a very unique man. For those of you who are interested, I think I'll just jot his name in here somewhere. He's in Ohio. He's in Columbus, Ohio. But my news might be shocking to some of you. For those of you who know homeopathy, it won't be so shocking. But when it happens to you personally, it's pretty exciting. I'm not going to go too deeply into this because I'd like to do a follow-up on this and give you the specifics. Some of you already know the specifics, but I had my wisdom teeth extracted in 1979. One of the more foolish things I did in my life. There was nothing wrong with them. I didn't even know they existed. I mean, in the sense of feeling them. I never had any trouble at all. But I was being, here's the word, proactive. A word that we should be very cautious of, my friends. Proactive with your health usually means doing something that's superfluous, that's unnecessary, for the sake of the potential, the possibility that perhaps someday there might be a condition that could arise. So, it would be like circumcision on a baby, because someday the foreskin might get infected, so let's just remove it. It might be like removing tonsils because, well, there was an infection and it could cause further infection later in life. It would be like removing toenails because you might get an infected toenail. Ridiculous, my friends. Absolutely ridiculous. And so I had them foolishly removed. One of them got infected, and it was number 32. And I took antibiotics, and I thought, in my naive young way, that that was the end of it. Oh, nay, nay. That wasn't the end of it. What happened was it became consistently infected without my knowledge and went on in an infection for 33 years. 33 years. Both sides were infected. Number 17 and number 32. But 32 was the worst. I didn't know it was the worst until the adjacent tooth cracked and had a small infection. And when I went to the dentist, now I have pretty darn good teeth. I mean, that was pretty much it in my life. I had a couple small cavities. When number 17 was filled, what we found was that it was I'm hoping I can get my husband to bring me the picture of the sonogram on his phone. I failed to bring it in here with me. So I had this small infection. It was extracted, the adjacent one, and lo and behold, the dentist said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! What's this? You have quite the infection, my dear. You have osteomyelitis. You have necrosis. You have an infection that is quite severe, following a line on your mandible." And it was so extensive that I could see the reaction of the dentist. So this dentist said, well, what we have to do is open it up, debride, that means remove the infection, remove the bone infection, the necrosis, black, serious infection. Now, I have to say, parenthetically, this sounds like it's something really odd, doesn't it? Something really awful and unusual. But, my friends, it is so common that you might be extremely surprised if you learn more about this. They're called cavitations, necrosis, osteomyelitis, etc. Now, the dentist wanted to, not this dentist that I'm telling you about who's in Columbus, Ohio, but other dentists told me that she wanted to remove what was there. And she said that likely it would come back again, even though she would clean out quite a bit. And I would have to have surgery time and again. So if you know anything about bone infections, my friends, they're very, very difficult to cure. But, my dear friends, I did. Yes, I mean it. I cured it. I cured number 17 and I cured number 32. How did I do it? I used homeopathy. There was no surgery. It took quite some time. I'm not going to go into the whole picture because because I promised I'd be talking about allergies and hay fever tonight. But I want you to know, my friends, even osteomyelitis, even cavitations, even bone infections, all the same, can be treated successfully without surgery, without antibiotics, without steroids. I've done it for myself, and I've taught many others how to do it as well. So, I'm so excited about this. I'm on such a high about it. If my husband happens to hear this as we're going along tonight, I'll show you the picture of the sonogram. And my dentist showed me this morning, this is the 4th sonogram, I believe, that showed indeed that the bone was completely healed over, that the infection was gone and the integrity of my mandible was intact, without exostosis, without any oddities. And I have the picture of the sonogram before, where it was quite compromised, more on this side and a little on this side, in comparison. Some, 8 years ago, maybe. So I had to share that with everyone because it is a very exciting time for me today. Every time I go, I think I just go because I want a nice up for the day. All right, let's talk about hay fever and allergies, shall we? Now, you know that this is a vast subject, my friends, and I will also mention that I believe that my allergies were worsened once I got that infection because everything coordinates around that same time. I had allergies as a young person, and then I was free of them for quite some time. And then around 1980, 81, that's when the sinuses and the allergies and the chemical sensitivities went through the roof. Because if you know anything about cavitations, my friends, they are something that is that can affect remote areas of the body, and they are seemingly unrelated, but they are quite related. All right, let's talk about allergies. Hay fever. Now, first I'm going to start with the specifics for the specific conditions, and I talked about this a little bit in the past. I did it last week, but I might even be changing it up a little bit because there's so many choices with which to with which to choose, and so many conditions. There's itchy nose, runny nose, stuffy nose. There's itching behind the side, in the back in the nasal passages, very deep in the sinuses. There's watery, itchy eyes. There's a nose block, the sensation of mucus that's blocking the nose, etc. So let me start with what has affected me the most in my life and what has absolutely cleared it up. For me, it was itchy, watery eyes, lacrimation, and itching. The itching starts on the lid right where the eyelashes are, can sometimes start there, but it can be the whole upper lid as well as underneath. And you want to scratch until you feel as though you're going to do harm to your skin, your face, your eyes. And that remedy is euphrasia. And that has worked wonders for me. Euphrasia, I no longer need it. Euphrasia, euphrasia. Just the way it sounds, because of course this is Latin, my friends. I've used it in a 30, you could use it in a 6. I never used it higher than a 30. I don't think we need it in a 200C. And that's for watery, itchy eyes. Now, if you have watery, itchy eyes and you have an itchy nose, if you have both, then we're going to consider a completely different medicine. But I want you to remember euphrasia for watery, itchy eyes. Now, what if the eyes are now itchy and they're only watery? Then by all means, my friends, we are still going to consider euphrasia. It's a very, very good choice. And we use it as needed. So it's used as, oh my gosh, my eyes are itchy, take euphrasia 30. Oh, I think they feel a little bit better. Or they don't feel better yet. Okay, in a few hours, maybe 3-4 hours, take it again. Still no improvement, take it again. Still no improvement, take it again. By the next day, my guess is it's going to be quite a milder situation. So once it gets better, then we back off. Instead of using it every 3 hours, we're going to use it every 6 hours or twice a day, every 12 hours. And then once it's completely backed off, we stop. Now, how do we remember all of that? Because we're all used to having taken drugs. You didn't take Tylenol just for the heck of it, did you? You take Tylenol when you have pain, I would imagine, for the most part. So you take it when you need it and you don't take it when you don't need it. You don't take Tylenol every day. You take it as needed. Same thing with euphrasia, only the difference is, here's the best part. The difference is, my friends, euphrasia uproots the condition. It has been quite a long time since I have needed euphrasia because I used it. So it's the opposite of conventional drugs. Conventional drugs cause the condition to worsen. It might help at that moment in time, but over time, it worsens the condition. Homeopathy is the opposite. Over time of using, not only deals with the condition as it's occurring, those symptoms as they're occurring, but it also uproots the condition so that over time it's no longer needed, or it's needed less frequently. Or when it is needed, the condition is much, much milder. So you see how it's the opposite? In fact, everything about homeopathy is the opposite of that old way, wouldn't you say? the cost is less. The cost to, and in the long term, to our health. I want you to notice things, my friends. I want you to note when you feel as though you are being, when things seem to be, when it feels to you as though someone is lying to you, when they're gaslighting you, especially when it comes to conventional, chemical, synthetic, patented meds. Pay attention to that. Don't be gaslighted. Is it gaslit or gaslighted? Just because the sales team has told you that this will act, or this is not really what's happening, that really isn't a side effect. If you get this and it causes a problem, don't believe for a minute that it didn't. We must pay attention. We must go with what our gut tells us. I want you to trust yourself, not the bigs, the big industry, the big government, the big media. Back off from that, my friends. Stay away from it. Let me tell you parenthetically that after I worked at NBC back in 1980s, I sold airtime in the sales department. And once I left, and before that I was working for a small independent television station that was local to Buffalo, New York. When I left, what I saw there, what I picked up on, what I realized was that, and that was in, those were days that were much milder, softer, gentler days. I actually bought a bumper sticker that said, "Kill your television," and I'd fixed it to the back of my car because what I saw was disappointing. And so I did. I killed my television. I know. It was murderous. But I killed it, and my children grew up without one. Now, television is no longer as much of a concern. It's a whole different world now. But I want you to think in terms of thinking for yourself and what is common sense. No more nicey nice mama. It's time to kick you know what. It's time for you to take on your health and your family's health. It's all about la familia, my friends. It's about the family, to take care of your family. Okay, first medicine, euphrasia. Next one. You know when some people have an allergy and they sound like they're clucking back here? It's as though they're trying to scratch up an unreachable itch. That, my friends, is the remedy Wyethia. Wyethia. Now, all of these medicines can be used in a 6, 12, or 30. I'm accustomed to using them in a 30. Wyethia. Itching behind, clucking sound, trying to scratch back there. And we use it in the same fashion as I just told you with euphrasia. You're going to use it every few hours when it's severe. As it improves over a day or even a dose or two. I find that when I take euphrasia, I need 1 dose. Sometimes I need 2 or 3 doses, but generally speaking, it's all I need. Okay, now let's talk about the next one. And this is not as common, my friends, but an itchy nose. And I often have an itchy nose, and this remedy has worked wonders for me as well. And it's the itchy, right here, itch, 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 for no reason. Itchy nose, Arundo, Arundo. Arundo. Now, when we see that the nose is itchy and the roof of the mouth and the clucking is back there, now we're going to go right back to Wyethia because Wyethia includes an itchy nose as well. But if it's solitarily nostril itching, it's going to be Arundo or Arundo, Arundo in English. Now let's say this hay fever, this itching or runny nose, etc. We're going to talk about runny nose in a moment. Let's say it's so bad that the person, you can't even think straight. You don't know, is this Wyethia? Is it Arundo? Is it euphrasia? I don't know what to do. That's when we own the medicine called histaminum, just like histamine, only with an at the end. Histaminum. Histaminum in a 6, a 12, or a 30. Yes, my friends, any one of those. You can use those in alteration with Wyetheia, euphrasia, arundo. Or you can just use that all by itself because it just calms it down a little bit until you can figure out which one of these medicines that I'm describing to you is most closely related. Okay, now let's talk about a nose that is running. Runny, runny nose. Clear, liquidy, runny nose. The medicine is ambrosia. Yes, just the way it sounds, ambrosia. 6, 12, or 30th potency, administered in precisely the same way as the others. All of these are going to be administered in the same fashion. Then we have, how about a nose block? A lot of times people feel as though there's mucus that is collected in the sinuses or into the in the nasal passages, and they feel as though that if they could just release that, they would feel so much better. But more often than not, my friends, that's not what it is. It's that it's swollen in there. It feels as though there's a nose block, but really what it is there's a swelling. And when we have that kind of condition, we use Arum, A-R-U-M, triphyllum, or Arum triph, T-R-I-P-H. Sometimes it's written out, sometimes it's abbreviated. Again, 6, 12, or 30. And it's sore inside. Sometimes it's actually sore inside the nostrils in addition to the feeling as though there is a stuffed nose and it can't be cleared. And it's also a great medicine. This Arum triph is an excellent medicine for children, especially children who you find picking their nose on a regular basis. And because it's so stuffed, they must breathe through their mouth. Doesn't that sound like children who have not just hay fever, but also allergies to dairy and those kinds of allergies? Remember that Arum triph. It's an excellent medicine especially for children, but anyone who has a nose block sensation and they must breathe through their mouth. Now let's talk about a particular product. That means it's a combination medicine. And you know that I prefer OHM Pharma for those who are my students and clients. I prefer boron that you can purchase, is available to anyone online on Amazon. I hate to use Amazon, but that is one way to do it. But you can also go to Boron, B-O-I-R-O-N. When you sign out, after you've gone to your cart and you sign up, then put my name in the little box, and just Joette, J-O-E-T-T-E, and you will get a discount. I have no affiliate program with them, my friends. This is only so that you can get a discount. So the medicine I'm thinking of now is a product made by Helios. Helios. It's called Helios Hay Fever. Now, Helios is in England. And indeed, it's not hard to order from them. You simply go on their site, Helios Homeopathic or Helios Homeopathy, something to that effect, or Helios Pharmacy. And the product is called Helios Hay Fever. And it has 3 ingredients. And in general, it's an excellent medicine. Follow the directions, and they will tell you precisely how to take the medicine. And when I tell you, my friends, precisely, I urge you to know that whatever the manufacturing pharmacist explains as the number or gives the directives on the number of pills that should be used, I urge you to follow that. It's not because they make more money when they say 5 pills over 3 pills. No, my friends, it is the 5 pills or the 3 pills. Whatever they tell you is the number. It's best to follow that because they have found through the years that most people get the greatest benefit when using the number that they suggest. It is not to make more money. Trust me, those little pills, they're smaller than my pearls. Now, I'm going to tell you one more thing before I start answering questions. I want you to consider my course titled Allergic. You go to Joette's Learning Center, no apostrophe, Joette's Learning Center, and look at the course titled Allergic. Now, if all that one might be suffering is hay fever, then this might be enough information, and that's my point. However, I have to say that if there's more to this than hay fever, if it's food intolerances, if it's eczema, if it's urticaria, then you might want to consider that course. But let's stop one more moment and talk about one more medicine, and that is calc carb or Calcarea carbonica, and it can often be used in a 200C potency every other day for allergies. Now, it's not going to work bam like Wyethia or like Euphrasia or Arundo because it is a longer acting, it's a deeper remedy, but I want to make you aware of that. Okay. Let's get to some questions. Dia says, there are no directions on the Helios bottle, and the product is called C-Hay-F. I use it frequently in a 200, but wondered if I should try 30C. What potency do you recommend? I would use it in a 30. I think 200 is fine, but I like 30. Love the allergic courses, says Tara. Thank you. Would the allergic courses cover asthma? You bet. What are the 3 ingredients in the Helios hay fever? It's, let me see, I think I jotted it down. It's Allium cepa, Euphrasia, and Sabadilla. And I didn't talk about Sabadilla because, and I didn't even talk about Allium cepa much because there's so many homeopathic medicines that I could teach you, but I wanted to try to keep it as simple as we possibly could. So what about drippy nose, slightly itchy? Yes, we talked about that, drippy nose. Just listen to this again and you'll find those answers. So drippy and itchy, you bet. I just ordered that, says CB. That course is on my list, says Deanne. Alrighty, what about a rescue cat with nasal congestion, greenish yellow, a few months now? Someone has a very good suggestion. Joanne says, Deanne, pulsatilla may be worth a try for the kitty cat. Why did Joanne say that? For those of you who know anything about homeopathy, why did she suggest this for that kitty? Let's just see what people know about pulsatilla that fits the kitty's symptoms. Yeah, raw inside the nose. Yeah, sore inside the nose. That's right. Yeah, we're at Aurum. Arum, not Aurum. Arum, A-R-U-M. Yeah, sore in the nose. All right, thanks so much. There are so many people that complain about chronic swollen tonsils. Can you have a live on this? Yeah, we could possibly talk about that. You bet. Raw inside the nose. Yep. Sinus infections. Go to Joette Calabrese Sinus Infections. Green yellow, says Tracy. You bet. Tracy knows why we should use pulsatilla for that kitty, because the mucus is green-ish, yellowish, or yellowish green. Pulsatilla. You got it. You guys are great. You know your stuff. It's important to do so. I just want you to know we need to be prepared, my friends. Skill up. It's not about hoarding antibiotics. I'm sorry. It's about knowing how to use homeopathic medicines and putting them to use, because you not only know or how to use them, you know what to use. And so that what we really need to be doing is ordering our medicines, having them on hand. And again, I make nothing by your ordering these medicines. I do make a living by teaching you. When you want to get very deep, then I am there for you to teach you how far to go with this. Is there a difference between histaminum and histaminum purum? Is it an either or type of thing? I'm afraid I would see that as the same, pretty much the same remedy that just made a little differently. But I'm not going to swear by that. So I don't know exactly, because there are many different medicines that many different pharmacies manufacture, and it's hard to keep up on all of them. More than one dose will often correct. Joanne is absolutely correct on that. You are right. Do I have a class on dental issues? Yes, I have. It's on the, that course is in antibiotic alternatives. Pretty sure that's where it is. And I also cover it more extensively in my academy, should you ever decide to go that far with your study. Snoring from allergies. I've written about that on my blog, Joette Calabrese Snoring. Okay, my friends, skill up. Be smart. Keep your, excuse my French, BS antenna up. Know when you're being lied to. Pick up on it quickly. Yeah, I am getting more high tech, aren't I? It's not really me. Alrighty, this is our end. We're at 8:30 Eastern time. I will see you next week, and I promise it will be hopefully as useful as this has been tonight. God bless you all. Mwah. Have a great week.